Interesting. So, in building a business, right? What we find is that as a founder, your role changes as the business grows and scales, right? And so one of the things is it isn't even so much about what I'm responsible for now that I'm not responsible for, or that I wasn't responsible for before. It is the second part of that is what have I relinquished responsibility of, right? And so as you're building out a team, one of the main things is that you have to be able to give them things so that you can free up yourself and your time so that you can move the business forward. And so, well, I guess to answer your question, one of the biggest things that I'm responsible for now is really people development. There wasn't, I didn't have a team to develop when it was just me by myself, right? But now that I have a team, and then we're also constantly recruiting new team members, it's like, all right, I have to develop the team, but also I have to develop the framework by which the team can operate in. When I was a one-man band, it was easy because everything was in my head. And so I did all of the functions. When I brought on my first team member, it was also easy because all I had to do was just tell them directly. Fast forward, I have 16 team members. It isn't that easy, because things get lost in translation. And so, my primary responsibilities now is to continue to create the framework by which the team can operate, develop the team, and then, of course, seek out opportunities for strategic partnerships and clients and, of course, sales and just promoting the business and developing the business. So those are some of the things that I'm responsible for now that I wasn't necessarily responsible for before. Well, the main thing that comes to mind as far as, I guess, quiet responsibilities that I'm expanding internally is really my leadership development, right? Understanding that I have to build the people and they build the business, but then I also have to give them room to make mistakes. And so me growing and actually growing and evolving into somebody who's not I never consider myself a control freak, but understanding and appreciating that once my team knows what 10 looks like, they can get to 10 various ways. They don't have to get to 10 like I would get to 10, which is 5 plus 5 or 8 plus 2. They can get to 10, 1 plus 9, right? 7 plus 3. They get to 10, 20 minus 10. My responsibility is to make sure that I clearly articulate what the completed looks like, and make sure that they have the tools, equipment, and skills necessary to get us to completion. There are many different ways to get to 10. It doesn't have to be my way, but being okay that they are using a different way to get to 10. And that's a broad thing. Of course, there are standard policies and procedures, but understanding that my way is not the only way. And sometimes my way is not the best way, it's just the way that I know. All right, so one of the things that I had to learn that I wasn't taught when I first started my business was pretty much everything. The reality is that in business, similar to in life, you either have to have money or you have to have time. And there's a lot of things that a new business needs, right? Like even down to websites and emails and, accounting. Like I didn't know all of these things getting into business. And so I'll never forget, like my first business, after I got ripped to shreds by a lady, she's like, how you sending me this thing? I remember it was pcsbahamas@gmail.com. She's like, Gmail? You ain't serious about your business? You don't even have a real email account? And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, nobody's going to take your business seriously. If you want to be serious about business, you need to get a real email account. And right then and there, I bought pcsbahamas.com. And then it was like, okay, well, I need a website now. I couldn't afford. I checked somebody there was like, oh, it can be $3,000. I was like, $3,000? You out your mind? You know how much money that is? And so I had to learn how to get a website, but nobody taught me, right? It wasn't like, like there was this course and it's like, all right, well, if you want to be a real business, you got to have a website and email and all this stuff, right? And so I didn't know that. And so it's just like there was a lot of things that I had to learn in terms of being able to set up the business, right? Now, it's one of the things is like learning how to do stuff like being with compliance, being tax compliant and national insurance and VAT and all this shit that you could go to jail for if you ain't got it right. So it's just like learning the technical side of business, because I think, and that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand, that, being somebody who can bake well is different from being a great bakery owner, right? And outside of the things that I was super comfortable with and confident with, which was always like marketing and branding and how to get myself out there, there's some technical aspects of business that, for all intents and purposes, nobody's really tell you that these are the things that you need to do. Like nobody told me. I wasn't taught that, okay, well, when you open up a business, you got to make sure that you're tax compliant. You got to make sure that even if you're registered as a self-employed person, you got to, pay NIB. Like you kind of know, but you ain't really know, and you too small. And so it's like a whole lot of that is what I had to figure out along the way. And I think now that I have the team, it's just more of that, understanding the complexities of, okay, well, now the decisions that I make and the actions that I make or fail to make don't only impact me, it has the potential to impact my team members as well and their households. And so it was just that. Also, nobody taught me how to deal with the stresses of ownership. It's extremely stressful, way. Like I just cry. Like I have cried in the morning by myself in the gym because you wake up and you don't know where the next dollar coming from. And here it is, you got payroll in 2 days. And you got $16.29 on your account. And you still got to show up to work. You still got to motivate the team, encourage the team, and balance that with, like, I wish you all know, like, I need y'all to get this piece of work out because I need to invoice the person and hopefully they pay me in time so that I can pay y'all. But it's hard to communicate that, right? Because you want people to feel as though they're working for a real business. But these are some of the truths, right? Like, the late nights of essentially just kind of scheming, like thinking of how am I going to, like, you got to figure it out. There is nobody else. And the reality is that nobody cares. Like, nobody cares that you don't have payroll, you don't have the money to pay your staff. And so just figuring out that, like, how to navigate that is something that nobody teaches you. They don't tell you about those. They don't tell you about the sleepless nights. They don't tell you about the frustration. They don't tell you about the balancing your expectations for yourself and the expectations for your team. Like, that's another hard one. I'll tell you this. There's never been a time since I left August 2007, my good, safe, fine job, that I ever thought that I should go get another job, right? I do have to remind myself that I chose this life. Like, nobody's forcing me to do this. Like, I know for a fact that I could go anywhere and get a job. I chose this life. And in choosing that, I can also choose something different. But so where I haven't ever question whether or not I made the right decision, I do remind myself that I made the decision. Like, I choose this every day. And sometimes I question the decisions that I would have made in relation to the business. Did I scale too fast? Should I really have brought that person on? Did I really need to buy that next piece of equipment? Am I really doing the right thing? I do question those things sometimes, but I've never really questioned or had the thought that I made the right choice as far as going into business. This is my third business. Lifestyle is my third business, and you have the opportunity to recognize patterns. Like, I am in the season now where I recognize that I know I can figure shit out. So it doesn't stress me out as much. Like, I don't cry as much anymore. Because I know that over the last 20 years of being in business for myself, I have been able to recognize the patterns, but that only came recently. Like, that literally only came maybe within the last 2 years. Not even. I'd say 12 to 18 months that I really started, okay, like, hold on, Ethan, use freak out. It's not the end of the world. And really what helped me do that is my wife has a saying, I operate from a place of abundance. And it's funny because she don't practice that saying herself, but I practice it. And so literally every time I go to make a purchase or I feel like, boy, like this all the way, like this ain't all the money you got more. But coupled with that is, all right, let me go out and get the money. Because I do believe that I operate from a place of abundance. But I do believe that it is also then my responsibility to go out and get it. The money isn't just going to come. And so, yeah, I don't have any money on my account. Today is the 13th, payday is on the 15th. Where's that money? Let me go get the money. And I've been fortunate that I've gotten it. Sometimes it's come late, but I've gotten it. And also I've learned to not allow not having it to make me feel like I'm a failure. It's like, I don't have it. This is where it is, but I'm going to get it. And I've been fortunate, especially in the early stages when I brought, like, even with Tyler, when he first came on, sometimes that I was late paying him. I remember one time Tyler didn't get overtime for 5 months. But when he got it, it's like, and I just made the decision that I don't want to be that guy, right? Like, I don't want to be that boss. Like, I don't take that for granted because I know that they have responsibilities. And so my whole thing has been, I just gotta, I know I don't have it right now. Where is it? Let me go and get it. And I've proven that shit is it today. Like today, as we're filming this, it's the 30th. I had to find my team's money because I understand that they have responsibilities and they're waiting, just like I'm waiting on clients to pay me, they're waiting on me to pay them. And they have worked and they do deserve to get paid. But it's like where I don't enjoy being in those positions, I understand that those are only temporary. And I find comfort in knowing that I ain't just sitting on my ass waiting for it to drop. Like I getting it. And I have confidence in my ability to get it. All right, guys. Remember, get uncomfortable, do the work because the world needs your greatness. Peace.